What if the reason your team isn't stepping up is because you've never actually given them anything to step into? Not because they lack capability, not because they lack motivation, but because you've been delegating tasks instead of responsibilities. And that one mistake, it's the thing that's keeping your team thinking like employees instead of acting like owners. And today, we're going to fix that. So let's get started.
This is The Rare Advisor, a show for financial advisors who want to build and grow their practice through the use of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. The Rare Advisor is brought to you by the Advisor Protocol Consulting Team at USA Financial.
Welcome back to another edition of The Rare Advisor. I'm your host, Aaron Grady. And today I want to share with you a simple yet powerful idea. I recently attended an advisor summit where the CEO of USA Financial, Mike Walters, shared this impactful statement. He said, delegate responsibility, not tasks. Now, on the surface, it seems like a pretty intuitive statement, but the more that I've thought about it, the more I realize that this might be one of the most important, if not the most important shift a growing advisory firm can make. You see, most advisory firms believe they're delegating. But in reality, what they're really doing is just assigning checklists. Send this email, prep this report, schedule this meeting. That's not delegation. That's task distribution. And task distribution creates employees. But responsibility creates owners. So let's break it down like this so we can make it real. Think about it this way. Task delegation sounds somewhat like this. Put together that review packet, call the client and confirm, update the CRM. Responsibility delegation should sound something like this. You own the client review preparation process. You're responsible for ensuring every client is fully prepared and confident heading into their meeting. Or maybe it's something like this. You own the accuracy and integrity of our CRM data. Do you hear the difference? One tells someone what to do. The other tells someone what they own. And this simple mindset shift is where the real transformation happens. Understand, when you delegate tasks, people wait for instructions. They execute narrowly. They avoid risk. But when you delegate responsibility, people start to think, they anticipate, they improve, they take pride because now it's theirs. And this is the bridge from the employee mindset to an ownership mindset. But here's the hard truth. Most advisors don't delegate responsibility. And understand, it's not out of a lack of want to. It's usually because they feel like this. It's faster if I just do it myself. Or I want it done a certain way. Or if I give it to them, they're probably just going to mess it up. But when you say something like those statements, what you're really saying is, I don't trust the process enough to let someone else own it. And that's a big step. Trust is a big leap. It is something that every advisor or leader has to eventually come to, that they have to start trusting the people around them to handle the tasks and responsibilities given to them. Because understand this, if the answer is, I don't trust the process enough to let someone else own it, what it's going to lead to is bottlenecks, burnout, and ultimately a team that never fully develops. And this is exactly why we spend so much time in our coaching working on roles and responsibility, not just job descriptions, not just task lists, though we spend a bunch of time on both, but on clearly defined ownership. Because understand, once responsibility is clear, the how becomes flexible, innovation increases, and accountability becomes obvious. And more importantly, your role as a leader and as a lead advisor shifts from doing and directing to coaching and mentoring. So if this conversation and this idea has really struck a nerve, and if maybe you're thinking, I want to start trying to apply some of this in my practice, here's a simple framework that can get you started. Instead of asking, what tasks should I delegate? Start asking, what outcomes should someone else own? Let me say that again. Instead of asking, what tasks should I delegate? Ask, what outcomes should someone else own? Then from that conversation, start to define the outcome. What does success look like? The ownership, who owns it, and the standard. This is important. What does great look like? Now, here's the important part. Once you get to this point, step back. Because at the end of the day, you don't scale a practice by doing more. You scale a practice by creating more people who can think, act, and take ownership like you do. Delegate tasks and you'll stay busy. Delegate responsibility and you'll start building a business that runs beyond you. Thanks again for listening to the Rare Advisor podcast. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss future conversation designed to help you refine your practice and elevate your client experience. And as always, when the why is clear, the how becomes easy. So never lose sight of your why.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.